Hello, and welcome to our online service here at Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor, Ontario. We are so happy you could join us. My name is Judy Chandler, and I am delighted to be your host today. All of our classes and services are made possible by your generous donations, and we thank you. We begin our service today with opening prayer. Take a deep breath and center yourself in divine love. At your core, you are divine love. You can do all things from this divine energy when you open to it. Divine love created you and supplies you with everything you need. Feel it, surrender to it, then go about your day from this place of divine love, pure joy at its best. And so it is. Amen. Our first musician this morning is Sue Riley singing, I Choose Love.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one loving family, sharing one son. I choose love. Yes, I do. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one choice unites us. Let this be the one. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love.
Thank you, Sue Riley, for this beautiful music video. I love this song and all the visuals in this video. So perfect for this time of year. Such a great arrangement. Peace grows because we choose love. Words and music written by Sue Riley and Karen Taylor Good. At this time, let us take to heart our vision, mission, and statement of being, which is shown on the screen. We have a global vision, which is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. We have a sacred mission, which is we inspire and empower spiritual growth to awaken us and transform the world. And we have a personal statement of being, which is I am a dynamic center of the Christ light, mighty to unfold my good and radiate that good to all. Our affirmation for this month is, I use my power of will to choose, to commit, and to be willing. Would you repeat that with me, please? I use my power of will to choose, to commit, and to be willing. And so it is. Amen. And now David Old will give us his message for today, Conscious Choices, after which he will lead us in a meditation.
Well, good morning and welcome. So glad to have you join us today. And as we always do, let's just take a moment and take a couple of deep breaths. And as we do so, we just relax. We relax into this present moment. We bring our attention to this present moment. We let go of any thoughts of things that went on earlier or last week or things that are going on later on today. We are making ourselves fully present. And as we do so, we allow ourselves to feel a sense of gratitude, a gratitude for our time with each other, a gratitude for this day, gratitude for our spiritual community, a gratitude for just all of the good that we are experiencing right now. So in that sense of gratitude, we just say thank you. And so it is. I always enjoy opening a talk when I can with something funny. And so if any of you have some good jokes out there that you would like me to share, I could always use them. So just send them to my attention at our Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor office. And anyway, I would love to get some from you. So today, I have a little story about Johnny, and he's a bright 5-year-old, and he told his daddy he'd like to have a baby brother. And along with his request, he offered to do whatever he could to help. And his dad, a very bright 35-year-old, paused for a moment, and then he replied, I'll tell you what, Johnny, if you pray every day for 2 months for a baby brother, I guarantee you that God will give you one. Wow, Johnny responded eagerly to his dad's challenge and went to his bedroom early that night to start praying for a baby brother. Well, he prayed every night for a whole month, but after that time, he began to get a little skeptical. He checked around the neighborhood and found out that what he thought was going to happen had never occurred in the history of the neighborhood. You just don't pray for 2 months and end up with a baby brother, you know? So Johnny quit praying. After another month, Johnny's mother went to the hospital, and when she came back home, Johnny's parents called him to the bedroom. He cautiously walked into the room, not expecting to find anything, and there was a little bundle lying right next to his mother. And his dad pulled back the blanket, and there was not one baby brother, but 2. His mother had twins. Johnny's dad looked down at him and said, aren't you glad you prayed? And Johnny hesitated a little and then looked up at his father and said, yes, but aren't you glad I quit when I did? So this August, we are exploring the power of will, which is the power to choose, to decide, direct, dictate, determine. In many ways, as we discussed last week, the power of will is the key to all of our powers, and that it moves all the other powers into action. Using our power of will, we choose what powers to use, when to use them, how to use them, to what degree, for how long, in what circumstances, and whether we use them or not. We need to always remember that our whole life is being created moment by moment by the choices that we make. However, research is showing that most of our choices are made on autopilot without any awareness of what's really driving them or the effects they will have on our lives. As behavioral psychologist Susan Weinschenk points out, research shows that nearly half of our actions are habitual and that changing them isn't necessarily all about willpower. In fact, motivation alone rarely works for the very reason that our habits are an unconscious behavior. So here is the question that comes to my mind: is an unconscious choice really a choice? Eckhart Tolle uh, speaks about this in his book, Practicing the Power of Now: Essential Teachings, Meditations, and Exercises from the Power of Now, the book that he published shortly after The Power of Now, his bestseller. He says the power to choice, implies consciousness, a high degree of consciousness. Without it, you have no choice. Choice begins the moment you disidentify from the mind and its conditioned patterns, the moment you become present. Until you reach that point, you are unconscious, spiritually speaking. This means that you are compelled to think, feel, and act in certain ways according to the conditioning of your mind. And Tolle goes on to say that nobody chooses dysfunction, conflict, pain. Nobody chooses insanity. They happen because there is not enough presence in you to dissolve the past, not enough light to dispel the darkness. You are not fully here. You have not quite woken up yet. In the meantime, the conditioned mind is running your life. So today I want to discuss 3 ways to help you make conscious choices, real choices, conscious decisions, empowering choices. We will also look at stress and some of the ways we can reduce it. Stress is not called the silent killer for no reason. At the heart of my message today is a quote that the Greek philosopher Aristotle made over 1700 years ago. And this is his quote. He says, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. To make conscious choices and decisions, we need to first improve our self-awareness. And here's a question for you. How many food choices do you make a day? So give this some thought, okay, and come up with a number in your mind. How many food choices do you make in a day? One study asked this very question, and on average, participants guessed they would make about 14 choices per day. But if you carefully track all the decisions, the average number would be 227, which shows that for the vast majority of people, they're just unaware of all the food decisions that are constantly being made. I mean, my number, being a cook and enjoying cooking, was much higher than the average of 14, but it wasn't as high as the 227. Anyway, any behavior that you aren't aware of is much harder to manage. As I noted earlier, most of our choices are made on autopilot without any awareness of what's really driving them or the effects that they will have on our lives. So the first step in making conscious choices is self-awareness. And self-awareness is the ability to recognize what we are doing as we're doing it. Another way of putting this is to make the effort to be fully present to what is going on in your life. You know, our being aware and present to our thought processes, emotions, and reasons for acting are an essential part of making conscious choices. With our fast-paced lifestyles, constant distraction, and overstimulation, self-awareness is not something everyone realizes. So to make conscious choices in our life and prevent our conditioned mind from running our life, we need to cultivate self-consciousness. So here are 5 ways that you can cultivate self-consciousness. And I found these on a website called positivepsychology.com. And so these are the 5 ways to cultivate self-awareness. 1, create space and time. Do this by connecting with yourself daily, avoiding digital distractions, and carving out solitude. And what they mean by that is by spending some time or setting some time apart each day to be in solitude, to be in the quiet, to be in the silence. This was actually one of the founders of Unity, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. It was one of their key spiritual practices. They spent time every day. They took time to just sit in the silence, being open and receptive to the guidance that's always there for us. So the second one is practice mindfulness. And we do this by paying attention to our inner state as it arises. Again, being fully present to what is arising within you. And try mindful walking or mindful eating, mindful listening, giving your full attention to whatever it is you're doing. I've spoken about this on numerous times. Being mindful and practicing mindfulness is a great way to allow yourself to really make conscious choices. 3, journal your awareness by processing your thoughts through writing and recording your inner states. 4, practice listening by paying attention to the person that's speaking, observing their emotions and body language, and not judging and not evaluating. And then 5, gain a different perspective by asking for feedback. So all 5 of these are simple ways to cultivate self-awareness. Create space and time, practice mindfulness, journal your awareness, practice listening, and ask for feedback. The second way to help us make conscious choices is to meditate. You know, meditation does not mean you need to find a quiet view and begin your days by watching the sunrise. Although if you have access to that ability, then that's great. But meditation can be as simple as taking 5 deep cleansing breaths the next time you're stuck in a long line or stuck in traffic. The neurological benefits are huge. With meditation, with modern technology and research, today's neuroscientists know that the brain is responsive to experience. It actually changes based on what you do. Neuroscientists refer to this as neuroplasticity. And when you practice a certain behavior, you're strengthening the neural connections for that behavior, making it more accessible and more likely to occur. Both helpful and unhelpful habits can be formed this way. So if you practice worrying, if you're always worrying, practicing worrying, you're going to get better at worrying because the brain region associated with that will grow denser. Practice concentration and you'll also get better at it and your brain will respond accordingly. You can also train your brain for better self-control, and meditation is one of the best ways to do it. Why? Because meditation has a powerful effect on a wide range of skills that relate to self-control, attention, focus, stress management, impulse control, self-awareness. You know, when you're meditating, you're training your mind to focus on a particular given point, your breath, for example. You're paying attention and observing thoughts, emotions, and impulses without identifying with them or acting on them. Therefore, when you meditate, you're literally training multiple important skills at once. You know, brain scans show that regular meditators have more gray matter in the prefrontal cortex and other areas of the brain responsible for self-awareness. And contrary to what you may think, it doesn't take years of practice to observe changes in the brain. One study showed that only 3 hours of meditation resulted in improved attention and self-control, and 11 hours led to visible changes in the brain. The third thing we need to do to assure that we are making healthy, conscious choices and decisions is to relax. You know, and that is something more and more people are having problems with due to stress. You know, I was somewhat shocked when I ran across the June 2020 State of the Global Workplace report from Gallup that reported Canadian workers experienced the highest levels of stress in the world, even beating out American workers, uh, although by just a little bit. But that still shocked me. The report says that Canadian American workers were the most anxious during the pandemic, with daily stress levels rising to 57% compared to 43% globally. And then there's a January 2021 Stress in America report that just came out, and it said that more than 84% of Americans reported emotions associated uh, with prolonged stress. And like I said, stress is called the silent killer and not for no reason. According to the American Psychological Association, prior to the COVID pandemic, chronic stress was linked to the 6 leading causes of death: heart disease, cancer, lung ailments, accidents, cirrhosis of the liver, and suicide. And more than 75% of all physician office visits are for stress-related ailments and complaints. I don't want to get too technical, but heart rate variability is one of the body's physiological indicators of stress and relaxation. It's the time variation of the interval between our heartbeats. And everyone's heart varies to some degree. For an average healthy person, the heart will have normal ups and downs. But when you're stressed, the sympathetic nervous system takes over. And this is the branch of your nervous system frequently referred to as the fight or flight system. It enables your body to respond quickly to perceived threats or stress. And when this happens, your heart rate goes up, but the variability goes down. So your heart gets stuck at a higher rate, leading to a physical feelings of anxiety or anger. When you're in a calm relaxed state, the parasympathetic nervous system is in charge. This is the other part of your nervous system, often called the rest and digest system. You'll experience lower heart rate, and the heart rate variability increases since there are longer pauses between heartbeats. In this relaxed state, you're more likely to manage stress better, resist impulsive behavior, exert self-control, experience a sense of focus and calmness, and make more conscious choices and decisions. Studies show also that sugar, especially the pervasive high fructose corn syrup, can increase the levels of stress hormones in the brain and trigger mental health problems like anxiety and depression. To prevent this, eating whole foods regularly and avoiding refined sugars will help keep your glucose levels stable and therefore better equipped to make conscious, healthy choices. According to psychologist Katharina Leno, both Canadians and Americans are also increasingly sleep deprived, causing an epidemic of poor self-control and focus. And lack of sleep creates impulse control and attention problems, similar to attention deficit or ADHD and hyperactivity disorder. So these things, stress is draining our system, our energy, and producing stress that stills our ability to of self-control. She says stress will shift your brain to a reward-seeking state. Whatever will make you happy at the moment will become a fixation. As you find yourself craving whatever your brain believes will make you feel better. This is why people who are stressed are more likely to reach for a cigarette, a drink, sugar, a fast food, or a drug. And according to the APA, or the American Psychological Association, the most common stress coping strategies are the least effective. And these are the least effective ones: gambling, smoking, playing video games, surfing the internet, watching TV or movies for more than 2 hours. So the the American Psychological Association does give us uh, a list of the most effective stress relief strategies that are out there. And here they are. The very top, the very first one, the highest, the one most listed is exercising, playing sports. Just get out there and do something. Exercise is a great stress reducer. And it is, as you know, it is good for you. And we just have to get out there and do it. The next thing is actually praying and attending religious services. Another way of relieving stress is reading, listening to music, spending time with your loved ones, meditating, and doing yoga, and going out just for a walk, something I love to do. So as I bring this talk to a close, let me give you 3 more things you can do to help you relieve stress. Give yourself permission to take a break from the news, social media, or even certain friends. You know, constantly exposing yourself to negative information, images, and rhetoric maintains our stress at unhealthy levels. Practice the rule of 3 good things and ask friends and family to do the same. The rule states that at the end of each day, reflect on 3 good things that happened, large or small. This helps decrease anxiety, counter depression, and build emotional resiliency. And I mentioned this before, but just one more time. Stay connected with friends and family. This helps build emotional resiliency so you can support one another. Thank you for being here. And now let us go ahead and prepare for our time of meditation. So I invite you to just really get comfortable in your seat. Let your whole body relax. It's a good idea to put your feet on the floor firmly, set up right, straight. Take a few deep breaths again. And as we allow ourselves to relax and we bring our attention again to this present moment, we open our hearts and we open our minds to the wisdom that's always here for us. And we acknowledge our oneness with spirit, our oneness with each other, our oneness with all of life. And knowing that oneness and making ourselves aware of that oneness, we find ourselves feeling at rest and at ease. So we have to take this moment to just feel the presence of spirit. We take this moment to let all of the things that might be agitating us, just letting them go as we rest in the present moment. And we allow ourselves to feel that peace beyond understanding that lies within us. And we can tap into that peace at any time that we wish. It's there at a very center of our being. So take another few deep breaths. Relaxing totally, completely into this present moment. Remembering the truth of who we are. And remembering that truth, we allow ourselves to rest for a little while. We allow ourselves to rest in the silence. So as we continue to rest in the silence, we allow ourselves to think of 3 good things that have happened to us so far today. So whatever those 3, let 3 good things that happened to you, let it bring them to mind, whether they be big or small. Just bring 3 things that you are grateful for. 3 good things. And if we allow our mind to wander and find those 3 good things that have happened, we just say, we allow ourselves to be grateful. Grateful for these 3 good things. And if you're like me, you've thought of a lot more than 3. But all you have to do is just think of 3 good things that have happened so far for you today. So in the sense of gratitude, we are just so grateful for this time to be with each other, this time of meditation. And we look forward to having you join us with conversations with the minister afterwards today. So God bless. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Look forward to seeing you later on at Conversations. Namaste.
I stand for love, I stand for peace, I stand for joy and for release, for what is beautiful and true. I stand for hope, I stand for you.
I stand for love, I stand for peace, I stand for joy and for release, for what is beautiful and true. I stand for hope, I stand for you.
You know our world is in great pain, she needs our loving care again. But there are those who fail to see what we have done and what we need.
There is a cost for every act, and now there is no turning back. We burn a bridge, we bang a drum. It's time to rise, the time has come to stand for love,
to stand for peace, to stand for joy and for release,
for
what is beautiful and true, to stand for hope, to stand for you. If you're thinking it's not urgent, that we've got more time to kill, if I'm not the one who'll change things, then for heaven's sake, who will? So I will move and I will climb that mountain one step at a time. I won't be swayed, I will not stop until we've made it to the top, where we will stand for love and peace, we'll stand for joy and for release, for what is beautiful and true, we'll stand for hope, we'll will stand for you. What is beautiful and true? I stand for hope. I stand for you.
Thank you, David Old. What I really got from your message today is that we have to be aware. Let's face it, we are on autopilot most of the time. I know I am. Let's start today to choose to be more mindful, more present, more aware. As we do, we will consciously create our lives. David gave us a great step-by-step process to help us do this. As we meditate, relax more, and stay connected, we will reduce stress. Sounds like a winning combination. Thank you, David Roth, for permission to use this music video. The words are so true. We stand for hope, love, and peace. We stand for you. Love for one and all. So simple and true. Thanks again, David Roth. As we continue with our service, we want to thank all of you out there who continue to support this ministry with your time and generous donation of tithes and love offerings. Especially during these challenging times, we could not continue to provide our programs and services without your support. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It's easy to donate. We accept e-transfer or PayPal. Sent to unitycenterwindsor@gmail.com. You can also click the blue donate button at the top of our website, which will take you to Canada Helps, a safe and secure site where you can make a one-time or recurring donation using a credit or debit card. Or you can send a check or money order to our office. For further information, visit our website at www.unityofwindsor.org. Again, thank you and bless you for your loving and generous support. In these interesting times, here at Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor, we are exploring different ways to provide more online services, classes, and opportunities to meet virtually. Information about all of our upcoming classes and events can be found on our website at www.unityofwindsor.org. If you do not receive our weekly newsletter, please contact us and we will add you to our email list. As we come near to the end of today's service, thank you again for joining us today. Let's open our hearts and minds in gratitude as we close by speaking out loud or silently to ourselves our love offering prayer, followed by the prayer for protection. Divine love, in me and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. We are so grateful to our speaker today, David Old, as well as for today's musicians, Sue Riley, David Roth, and Mike Karloff for our opening and closing music. Please remember that members of our prayer chaplain team are available during the week to pray with you. Please email our office to request a prayer chaplain to contact you by telephone to arrange a convenient time to pray with you. Please join us directly after our service on Zoom for fellowship and an opportunity to get to know you better. Get connected here at Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor. Also, one of our prayer chaplains will be available for those who would like someone to pray with them. David will be hosting conversations on Zoom after the service at 11:30. Please go to our website for connection instructions. This is a great place to learn more about today's topic with like-minded people. Thanks for joining us today, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your continued support. Have a wonderful week, everyone.